Hey, thanks for checking out my lesson on Stuck With You. Go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button so I can keep making these videos for you guys. Also, if you're interested in taking some virtual guitar lessons from me, go ahead and check the description for some links. I also have a website you can go check out where I have some of my premium content. All right, let's go ahead and get started. The main riff's actually in electric, but I thought I'd just do this on my acoustic to try to keep it a little more intermediate, maybe beginnerish. And I might even do another lesson with a capo and just kind of try to make it even easier. But this is how I kind of figured it, and I might show you a couple variations. So you got to play some bar chords. G sharp is the first chord, so you're going to bar across the 4th fret, high E through low E, and then you're going to set your middle finger down on 5th fret of the G, ring finger down on 6th fret of A, pinky 6th fret of D. And you're going to start out, I'm kind of like one of those people where I have to like kind of be hopping a little bit with my hand, my rhythm hand, to just kind of keep track of things. You don't have to do that. It's just something that I'm doing to kind of keep the feel, keep the rhythm for myself. So what we're going to do though is you got to be ready to do a few little palm mutes. So you want to kind of have your hand ready to mute up here by the bridge a little bit. If you don't want to do that, that's fine, don't worry about it. But what we're going to start out with is just 2 plucks on the low E string, and then a strum. But when you strum, you can either karate chop the strings or just kind of press the chord down and then let off of it just to get that pizzicato strum pluck that they're getting. So you've got, okay. Now this is something I heard in the intro, was this little, okay. So that's just D, D, A. And then you're gonna strum again after that. Now, if you're really trying to simplify this, I wouldn't do that every time. I wouldn't do the thing every dang time, because it just kind of, if you're trying to sing along with it especially, I would almost just do this. Just stick to the low E. Just like that, okay? But I'll show you the riff I was hearing in the intro. So we've got, then another strum, another pizzicato strum, okay? And when I'm strumming, I'm kind of focusing on sort of the center to higher strings, but not so much the high E string, more just the center to higher strings of the guitar. So you've got, now right after that, we're gonna do a walk up. So we gotta, your index finger setting on 4th fret of the E, you just pluck that note, then you use your ring finger and pluck the 6th fret of the low E, and this is gonna walk us to that 3rd fret of the A string. So we've got, okay? Now that's your first note of the next chord. So when you get to it, just set your finger down, bar high E through A, and then set your middle finger down here on the 4th fret of B, ring finger 5th fret of D, pinky 5th fret of G, and then same kind of rhythm feel. We got A string, because we're hitting that bass note again, then the strum, then the A again. So we got, so A strum, A strum, A strum, A strum. Now we're gonna move this, we're gonna move to the next position, 4th fret, but now we gotta play a triad. So index finger, 4th fret of A string, ring finger bars across 6th fret of the D, G, and the B. Again, bouncing from that A string root note to the strum on the high to mid-high strings. Again, it's A strum, A strum, A Then we got to do a little walk up here. So A string, 4th fret, 6th fret, 8th fret. Now here we got to be ready to play a chord. So from that spot on 4th fret, so this chord was the same chord we played on 3rd fret, that minor shape. So you got your index finger barring high E through A on the 8th fret, middle finger 9th fret of B, ring finger 10th fret of D, pinky 10th fret of G. Again, but this time just A strum. Then we're going to bounce down 2 frets and we're going to do that triad chord. Index finger 6th fret of A, ring finger barring across D, G, and B on the 8th fret. So that was. So let's take it from the top a little slower. So start on that first chord, 4th fret, the G sharp chord. Now the variation I showed you where you can just stay on the E. See, that way you don't have to play that little riff every time, which I don't think they do throughout the entire song. So then we're going to get to the bridge. Now the bridge, index finger 4th fret of A, ring finger 6th fret of D, pinky 6th fret of G. And that's it. Then we bounce down to that G sharp chord again, but we just play the lowest 4 strings, E through the G. Then we go back. Then we slide up to 6th fret. All right. Now it's going to go back to this riff, but there's a little variation to listen for. So when we go back to you got to listen for that chord. That's a 7 chord. So you're still barring the 3rd fret, high E through A, but ring finger sets down here on the 5th fret of the D, pinky 5th fret of the B. So just listen for that chord because that's in there, all right? But they only play it after the bridge. But the rest of the riff is pretty much the same. You just have to listen for that 7 chord, all right? So let's just go ahead and run through the bridge now. All right, so we've got seven chord. That's what you got to watch out for, okay? So they've got that C sharp minor in there after you play the major triad, the C sharp. All right, you got to switch to the minor chord again, okay? So I hope this video helped you out. Go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video.